Topic will cover different types of weathering. I wanted to cover this topic because I think it's interesting how observable and practical weathering is in relation to our daily lives. The first type of weathering is physical or mechanical weathering. This involves the actual breakdown of a rock. This could be caused by a strong force that instantly breaks the rock apart or by friction over time. The second type of weathering is chemical weathering. It involves the decomposition as a result of a change in chemical makeup of rock. This process can be explained as the eating away of a rock. In the next slides, I will go over some various ways that mechanical and chemical weathering can occur. First up, we have frost wedging. This is a type of mechanical weathering that takes place when water or condensation freezes in the cracks of a rock. Once frozen, the water expands and causes larger fractures. Another way that frost wedging can be observed is through frost heaves. This is most easily understood using the example of pavement during the winter months. When moisture-rich soil freezes, it can expand. This forces the pavement or roadway above it to crack under the pressure. This process is observed in man-made structures as well as naturally occurring rock. The second type of mechanical weathering that I'd like to talk about is salt crystal growth. This is most observable by oceans or other salty bodies of water. When sea spray lands on rocks close to the shoreline, the water evaporates or falls away, but it leaves salt crystals behind. Over time, these salt crystals build up and can cause cracking. Sheeting is a fascinating example of mechanical weathering. This type of weathering occurs with igneous rock. When igneous rocks form underground, naturally there is significant pressure placed on them from the ground above. As erosion takes place, however, the igneous rock is uncovered and the pressure is released. The release of pressure on the rock causes the outer layers of the rock to break or peel off. This is due to the fact that the outer layers of the rock swell and break apart from the rock beneath. Many people use the example of onion layers to help visualize this. The final mechanical weathering process that I will go over happens due to biological activity. Plants, animals, and humans all contribute to biological weathering. With their destructive tendencies, animals and humans are particularly apt to cause the breakdown of rocks by directly or indirectly exerting force onto the rock or surrounding objects. Plants also cause biological weathering, but not in the same way. Plant roots will find their way into cracks and crevices of a rock, take hold, and cause further fracturing as they grow. Over time, this can cause a rock to completely break apart. Next, we will discuss some ways that chemical weathering can occur. There are two main compounds that cause chemical weathering. The first is rust. Rust is formed when water comes into contact with iron. Many rocks are rich in iron, and therefore when moisture makes contact with the surface of the rock, it can cause rust to form. Over time, this will cause the chemical breakdown of that rock. The second main component that causes chemical weathering is called carbonic acid. This acid is formed when water comes into contact with carbon dioxide. When this compound comes into contact with rock, most often by way of rain, it begins to eat away at the surface. Over time, this causes the original rock formation to be altered. Weathering is such a fascinating natural process. It can cause unique rock formations and interesting shapes for scenic viewers. Weathering can also cause hazards for humans and animals as it causes the breakdown and subsequent shifting of rocks. As I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, weathering is easily observable in our day-to-day lives. Next time you go for a walk in nature or watch a movie or show that has geographic elements, see if you can spot different results of weathering and describe how they occurred. If you are a frequent adventurer, take time-lapse photos of your favorite places in nature and see if you can point out the changes that weathering has caused over time. When you make it a point to observe the gradual changes that happen around you, you may be surprised to find out just how much weathering is happening on Earth.